You are listening to Drop Tent Media Network.
Old Broadway has gone away. No tuxedos, no berets. Sardi's ain't the same today. Gone are those days. T-shirts aren't taboo today. For a show on Old Broadway, to be clear, I'm not a gay. It's the Straight Guy's Guide to Broadway.
All right, guys, welcome to Broadway for Breeders, the Straight Guy's Guide to Broadway. I am Zach Petrovich, and to my right, I have
Mr. Oliver Blatt. How are you, Zach?
I'm feeling good, buddy. I'm feeling good. We got a really fun show, a show you've directed before, which is fun.
Not necessarily music directed. It's a little. Let's
all right,
details.
Yeah, he could just just shut the fuck up. Anyway, so anyway, we're going to be doing Shrek today with a very good friend of mine, Kevin Hurley from Comedy Mob. One of my first friends in comedy, still one of my best friends. And here he is, Kevin Hurley, everybody.
Hello. What's going on?
Buddy.
Welcome, Broadway for Breeders.
Yes.
It's a really niche market. I feel like the 8 straight guys in theater are really going to enjoy this podcast.
It's for us, by us, all right?
Boo boo.
Yeah. I should have worn my Muhammad Ali tracksuit and my Martin Luther King button down. No, I'm in Philly. I would have gotten killed. Anyway, so, all right, fantastic. Kevin, I'm so glad to see you. I mean, we haven't seen each other in fucking forever. This is...
not since quarantine, baby.
I know, and I'm so glad that the show...
Not since I saw you wear that tracksuit at New York Comedy Club.
Oh, I was having a rough day that day. I was having a rough day. Was that when I called the guy an apple picker?
Yep.
Yeah. That was fun. Oh, man.
That crushed.
But if you could just do me a favor, just tell the people who you are and like what you do and your background in theater and why you brought the show today.
Yeah, man. So, my name's Kevin Hurley. I actually went to high school for musical theater at Southern New Jersey Academy for the Performing Arts, NJAPA. I went to college at CalPAC, which is the California Pacific College of the Performing Arts. I had a pretty good young career in the Philly area. I was working at the Walnut. I worked at a lot of different places, earning some money. I got my equity card through the Candlelight Theater. Moved to New York City, started doing things here and there. Unfortunately, about 10 years ago, when you join the union, the catch-22 is that you get paid more, but you work less. So one of the ways to secretly get on stage is to do music or stand-up comedy or poetry or something. And so I started comedy just to get on stage like more because I wasn't getting as many gigs as I wanted in the union. And then eventually I just started liking comedy more. I moved to New York City to do both and quickly realized that I hate auditioning. We just voted and I had to wait 30 minutes in line and people are like, 30 minutes. But there were moments where I would wait 6 hours for the day, even during a union call.
Oh yeah, the cattle
6 hours.
And all that.
Yeah, 6 hours just to get seen from a person who never even looks up at you. And they're just like, all right, get out of here. And I hated all the politics to it. And I really just quickly kind of leaned away from that. The last show I did was probably about 3 years ago at the Eagle Theater. I got hired, my wife and I got hired to do Heathers at the Eagles, at the Eagle Theater. And
go Eagles.
And it was a great show. And it was like everything I've always wanted theater to be, which is just like you go and you perform, but then you go to the bar afterwards, you wake up the next day, you work out, you go grocery shopping, you drive to the theater, and it's just like a repetition of that like awesome performance. And even though I love that and kind of think about that a lot, it's just not for me anymore. But now I kind of go into comedy really hard. I'm the director of new talent at Stand Up New York. I work for a company called teambuilding.com. That's new. You don't know about that.
I didn't know that. No, that's a new credit. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, I have health insurance now. It's weird.
Fuck you. Fucking fancy piece of shit. I got health insurance. Yeah.
And I run a thing called the Comedy Mob, which I don't know if you talk about the producer of your show, Neil Wood. I don't know if Neil's allowed to talk during this.
Yeah,
Neil,
no,
shut up. Neil, don't you dare talk to us. Neil, shut up. But in South Jersey, I started a comedy group called High Note Humor. And me and my friend James started it. And we started a competition. It was the South Jersey Stand-Up Championships. When I moved to New York City, I met this guy, George Van Arthos, who wanted me to host his open mic. And I was like, nah, bro, I don't really want to do it. And he was like, I'll pay you. And I was like, I'm there. Well,
that's how he got all of us.
Long story short, George is like my mentor, a father figure to me. Also one of my best friends, honestly. And we started the Comedy Mob, which is really just this community of comics in New York City, just putting on great shows. And now we are the directors of new talent at Stand Up New York. So hopefully when COVID's over, we get back into that stuff. Hopefully maybe one day, like in life, I can get back to doing some theater and stuff, but it still has I have a huge passion for it, even though I just don't think it's for me right now.
I get that, man. I mean, I just did, I did my first theater show in, 4 years? 4 years?
Something like that. Yeah.
4 years for Ollie. I'll tell you right now, it's a fucking learning curve. Like you go to
back.
Oh my God. Well, you go to school for it and you're like, oh, I got this shit. And then all of a sudden they start throwing like musical notes at you and you're like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah.
All of a sudden you don't know what 4/4 time is. Like, it's like,
yeah. Let's also talk about musical theater school for a second. Because again, I went to high school and college for musical theater.
Yeah. You made two mistakes.
Do you know what, you know what 90% of that should be is getting a job. Like learning how to audition, learning what your resume should look like, your headshot should look like, learning how to send cover letters, and it should be 90% of it.
Yeah.
Because if you're a good enough actor, like, okay, great. Well, get your fucking master's once you start getting parts. Yeah. But the thing I'm not good at is auditioning. The thing that John Marco is great at, that you just had him on your last podcast, you were telling me, he's auditioning.
At auditioning.
He's a phenomenal auditioner.
He has that look, though, too. He has a very, like, the second he walks in a room,
of course,
your eyes are drawn to him because he looks like a fucking alien.
Very charismatic.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Kevin, also, I just want to say, real sorry about the things I said earlier. You sound like you're doing great. Love everything you're doing. As a comic who's
Neil's moving to New York right now.
We'll be trying out in front of you.
Oh, Neil, you didn't know I was the director of new talent at the Major Comedy Club in the city.
No, I knew that, dude. Of course I did. That's why I follow everything you do. The thing of you can turn on that fan as well.
Oh, thank you.
Listen, that's also just a side note of if anyone's listening that like is thinking about like what you really should concentrate on is getting the job.
Right.
Like, fuck. Also, can we curse? I'm assuming.
It's my fucking podcast. Yeah.
Like, fuck all that, like, getting, like, the Meisner and the Stanislavski bullshit. Like, yeah, that's cool. But also just get the part. Like if it's a job, which it is.
Well, it's one of those things that, like, I mean, you've experienced it. I mean, like, we've had extensive training. Both of us have. I went to Point Park's Conservatory. You went to, wherever the fuck you went.
Calpan.
And I'm fucking with you, man. But it's like, when you go through a conservatory program, and you got the BFA too, right? Yeah. So like when you go through that program, you have all this extensive stuff and you feel so prepared to act. But what you're saying, what you're not prepared to do is walk into a room of a bunch of people who don't give a fuck about any of your training. They just want to see you be what they want you to be, Yeah.
Well, there was also a moment like when I was doing Heathers. Again, it was a professional show. It paid very well. It was union. I got all that kind of stuff. But I was playing the character Ramp. That's not like a tough character, but I did my research. I knew what I was doing. I came in and realized like, okay, I'm great at this. Like I'm very good at this. And other people were just good at auditioning. So they got the part. And this part, they're like, it'll come naturally or whatever it is.
Right. And directors love to say that when they miscast. I love that. Like the guy, he'll get it. He'll get it. Yeah. He'll get it. It's like because you put all your eggs in this fucking basket for some.
I've never said that as a director.
Yeah, well, you're a good director. That's the difference.
Thanks,
yeah, fucking like. But no, I mean, I remember when I was working in Pittsburgh, I had we did worst musical I was ever a part of. It was 21, the Roberto Clemente musical. Oh my God, it was brutal.
Were you Roberto Clemente?
Yeah. Dude, it's Pittsburgh, of course. No, I was like this Myron Cope-esque person who was like this sports writer who was constantly fighting with Roberto. But there was, there's any musical I was in, actually, because I don't want to talk shit. But I mean, like, there's a lot of shows I've been in where like people were definitely miscast and kind of in over their head. Granted, sometimes the source material wasn't great, but like I remember I did a fucking production of Streetcar in college, which should never be done in college, but whatever. And then the person who was playing Blanche, like it was always like, oh, she'll get it, and she never got it. And everyone was like, oh, the show, like, and then you have the whole theater aspect of people just like total bullshit. Oh, it was so good, and then 20 minutes later at the bar, so why was she cast? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's the one thing about theater I don't miss is like I think like comics, we're a little bit more honest with each other. Like we'll be upfront if we don't like you. You know what I mean?
So Kevin, would you do the program again, the theater program again, or no? You wouldn't go for the same thing.
So it depends. Yeah, I wouldn't. That's a challenging question because it's not just theater. It would be where my life wound up to where it is today. However, I would have started comedy earlier if I would have changed it. I would have.
Interesting.
There's a lot of people that I know, like Helium, like Pat House, who started when he was 15. Like if I would have started at Helium when I was 15, maybe I could be even better now.
Right.
Though my college, I really traveled most of the time. So I got to live in Japan for a year, in Germany for a year, and doing all this awesome stuff. So I don't think I would ever change that, even though in hindsight, what I would have done is hired, got my parents to hire people to teach me how to audition better. Because though they were technically teaching me how to audition, they were really trying to do all the deep stuff. And especially in high school, it was all just like learning the Uta Hagen, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of like the theorists.
Yeah,
it's all
and
the
each year is a different theory. Oh, well, you're becoming a better actor. It's all right. Well, I can't get a fucking job. Like teach me how to get the job.
Did you have an audition class once you got to college though? Because we had audition techniques at Point Park.
Of course,
but it still doesn't help. Like it helps as much as it does,
But that was a class. Audition techniques should be 90% of what we teach. 90%. Fix your headshot.
They do
fix
that
your
now.
resume.
Yeah.
90%. I don't know.
I agree with that.
The programs now, I'm familiar. I will not talk about the things I currently work for, but I'm currently with like programs that I've heard and talked with and done marketing stuff with. But I'm like, oh, you guys like kick ass. Like that's all you're about. It's LA. It's based out of LA.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they're just like, that's what we do. We get in the industry. It's 90%. Yeah.
Ollie, you hold auditions for a lot of people too. So I mean, like,
well, yeah, and that's the thing is it's like either you have the talent or you don't. It's not like you're going to go to school and suddenly learn how to be a great singer. Either you have the skill set to do it or not. My big thing too is as a director is not only once you get the job, knowing how to keep the job too. I mean, that's a big thing that they don't teach at all. I mean, yeah.
Again, I would say sure on that one. But once you're in the union, it's so hard to fire you anyway.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So, all right. Going off of that, let's jump into Shrek. Into Shrek. You brought Shrek in for us. Why is this your favorite musical? Why are we talking about it? And I'm not saying that condescendingly. I'm very excited because like the last musical was falsettos, and I was literally looking at John Marco like, why the fuck are we doing this? Yeah. So
yeah. Here's why I love Shrek, because I do love Shrek.
I can tell. I know it's legit.
It's so good. I saw it live. It was so good. Don't worry about it.
He's crying
because as an actor, whatever, I feel like people's favorite musicals are the ones that you can picture yourself in as the character. I feel like people watch, Annie because they want to be Annie. People watch Hamilton because they want to be one of the characters. John Mocher probably wanted to be a character in falsettos if he wasn't already.
Oh, no, he did. He did. Trust me.
Of course. Right. But I picture myself as Shrek. And I'm not a Shrek.
Oh, I figured you as Fiona, honestly. But
but I picture myself as Shrek the beautiful ballads he gets to sing, the great lines he gets to do, or as Lord Farquaad. I picture myself as Lord
You would
Farquaad
crush
being
as
the comic
Farquaad.
relief. Well, which is obviously what I would be cast as, and obviously like
Because you're not
what,
fat.
like,
Yeah.
well, I'm not fat. But then also because I'm usually the comic relief in most of the things that I do. Or even like hypothetically, if you were doing a theater that didn't have any black actors around, like
could be
Donkey,
God.
I would love to do that. I would love to be Pinocchio. I would love to do any of them.
Well, I got to.
So that's
go ahead.
That's why I love Shrek, because I picture myself doing all these things and singing all these high tenors and awesome parts.
I was going to say we were listening to the music on the way in. I was listening to music on the way in, and I've heard it before, but you know me, I fucking put it in the. You know, I don't fucking remember anything.
I made him listen.
I do drugs. But I was sitting there going like, holy shit, this music, all of it is just so much fun.
Yeah.
Like,
Fun.
it's a fun musical. I wasn't sitting there going like, ugh, here comes the Send in the Clowns. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's fucking like Farquaad's song about how his dad's grumpy, the fucking dwarf.
Hilarious.
Hysterical.
Hilarious.
And that's not even source material.
First time I saw it, I was dying laughing. Loved it.
Yeah.
He's in the bathtub. He's got the little feet.
Yeah.
See, I haven't seen it. I hear it's on
Oh,
Netflix.
my
Is
God.
it streaming on Netflix right now? Is that a thing?
Yes.
Okay, so I feel
Yes.
like an asshole. I should have seen this before we fucking did this. But, you know, I'll come home and we'll do a Patreon about it later.
It's
Uh,
a little strange to watch it first, and you have to get used to like the up close, like whatever. But yeah.
Well, theater filmed is always a little weird, but you know, for some Neil, what were you going to say? I'm
no,
sorry.
I'm just going to say I've got some of the set dressings and stuff like that. Some of the characters. It's
if you
really great. Yeah, it's up. It's up. So they're watching kind of like.
Wow!
And they really do.
So
do a
super
great job.
colorful.
Yeah, sorry,
I mean,
Gavin, you can't
I've
see,
seen. As I said, Ollie Musical directed this 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, something like that.
A while.
So he I've seen some of what he's done with it, and yeah, this is fantastic.
Yeah, it looks really good.
For the source material, I think it's a really great adaptation also of the film. I mean, it's sometimes you adapt a film and you're like, oh, what was that crap that they just put on stage? But I think it's a great show. Yeah, it really is.
So
let me tell you. Let me
please,
tell you something of why it didn't succeed as well as it should have. Just FYI.
No, please.
I think it should have ran for 5-10 years. It ran for about a year. Because like every musical in 2008, it did not succeed because 2008 was the financial crisis and the housing crisis, and no one had extra money to go to the theater. So none of the amazing
some of us
shows
did.
that
No, I'm
opened-
kidding. I didn't.
Some people's parents did.
Yeah. John Marco.
But-
Anyway.
But some people like it. You know, it just didn't succeed because nothing succeeded in 2008. But I saw it in 2008. I saw it live. I saw it with a girl I was seeing at the time. Not my wife. Don't want to talk about it.
Talk about it.
And it was awesome. I just remember laughing my ass off, loving the music, hadn't heard the music before. And at the end, just a little to go deeper, further into it, I kind of knew, you know, what they didn't do was the, I thought love was only true.
Oh, I'm a believer.
So they didn't play that song, and everyone in the previews was pissed. So they just added at the end where they all just sing it together as like a rock band. And you're
Smash
like,
Mouth.
Yeah. This is great.
Smash Mouth's only hit. It's like that's. Oh my god. Well, no, I mean, if I was watching the show and they didn't do that, I'm glad that they didn't do any of the Counting Crows though. Like, I'm really glad Accidentally in Love didn't come in out of nowhere and like. Do they And they don't play the Jeff Buckley song either, do they? Hallelujah.
No.
Okay, so that's good. I'm glad they didn't do that. But for the curtain call though, they do I'm a believer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's great.
Yeah, and it's just a great way to end the show. They listen to their audience, and again, unfortunately, it just you just didn't get it.
It had a pretty good tour, though, right? I mean, their touring record was pretty good, from what I remember.
So yeah, but correct me if I'm wrong, Ollie. I think you might know this. I don't think it's a union tour. And I really don't respect union tours very well.
Non-union or union?
National non-union. I don't respect non-union tours very well because they go to these big ass theaters, and it's like, all right, well, if you're a huge theater, you can afford to give people health insurance. Like that's. I
see what you're saying.
Tours.
Okay, yeah.
I would never go see a non-union tour of anything, though I think it was incredibly successful. Though, again, I don't know if I'm right on this, but I kind of remember like the international tour was union, the non-international tour was not union. But we can look that up.
Yeah, I don't remember.
So you have the international tours here. Just trying to sum up. This is, and also everyone just for wearing this is just Wikipedia. So just breathe.
Not really.
So who knows?
The second North America tour was non-ec.
Right. Okay, yeah, right here.
And it's bullshit because it's gonna sell out. It's a great show.
Plus, kids are gonna want to come see it. But the thing I will say, as far as the kid thing goes, though, it's kind of a kid show, but it's not. Because like all the jokes are fucking like they're adult jokes in this
played the same way the movie did.
Yeah, I mean the movie's the same way.
Remember the movie?
Yeah, no, the
like,
movie's pretty.
When he calls him a jackass and you're a kid and you're like, oh God.
Yeah.
And the parents are like, that's funny.
Parfait may be the best thing on the whole damn planet.
Man, like everything Donkey ad-libs. And let's go even further into it. Let's talk about how great the cast was at adding humor that I'm assuming was not in the script. And Ollie, again, you directed this, so I don't know. I've never done it. I've never seen the script. But there's so many great lines in the musical that are definitely not in the script, especially from Christopher Sieber, who plays Farquaad, especially from... who's the guy who plays Pinocchio? Is it John Tartaglia? Especially from him, who just adds extra lines at the end of it that make you laugh. And especially from Donkey, who, the one line makes me laugh so hard when the line is, first of all, you're mean to me. All right. And that's the line. And he goes, first of all, you are mean to me. And like, it's so, and it gets an applause break. It's so funny. So these comedic actors who obviously the director gave them opportunities that were just like, hey, let's just play around. Like add lines, add jokes, do what you want to do. And they were, I hate to say they're funny to the script, but some of these lines are just so funny. Christopher Sieber ad-libs so much.
Well, I think it's how they really bite into the script and use their comedic abilities to, enhance it. I mean, like that's the cool thing about a new musical. I mean, I'm sure during previews and all that stuff, I mean, they worked out in the rehearsal room. I mean, like that might not have been day one shit, but I mean, it definitely wasn't day of shit either. Right. You know what I mean? Like it's, and that's the fun part about like, working on musicals like this. I mean, a lot of people think like, oh, you just follow the script, but there's shit that happens on stage that you sometimes you just can't. Right. You know what I mean? Like,
and there's shows that you shouldn't change the script to, you shouldn't add lines to. But let's talk about Heathers. Like Heathers the Musical is just Heathers the Musical. It is what it is. They change it every year. They keep rewriting it because they just want to like add new stuff. Right. They just recently cut a song because it was too offensive and rapey. Which was the you make my balls so blue song. My song. They changed it with something else like recently.
That's like one of my favorite things to yell at everyone.
Well, when we were doing it, the director would just be like, "Hey, let's just play around," or I would add a line here, and he would be like, "Yes, yes,
yeah,
right." And so Ram and Kurt have this real like it's all about them being straight but gay and like kind of this weird thing. And so he would mess with me, and I would mess with him, and then I would add a line that'd be like, "You're the gay." And just
you've said that to me. You pickle smoocher.
I added a line to it that he told me to keep, which was like, "We're leaving the party, like we're leaving Ram's party," and I go, "Let's get out of here. Let's just go Blockbuster and chill." Like, and like,
Blockbuster and chill.
That's a musical that you're allowed to add shit to, and I think. Shrek is too.
Yeah.
It's not a Bible. It's a funny show. And they just add, and again, Zach, you're going to notice this when you watch it, especially Christopher Sieber, who's so good at it, who just adds not only just funny lines, but also the way he says the lines are just great.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing is, like, when we were doing some research on the show, I mean, Shrek itself has had monster rewrites too, though. Like, they've cut some songs.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
Shrek,
Ollie,
it's like, it seems like every version of Shrek that went out, they kept reworking it. But it's funny, you talk about the ad libs in the show and about it was a show where there's places to kind of, I'm good for now, thanks. There's places to to improv, but musically, as a music director of the show, when you listen to the cast recording and you watch it, and there's a beats for bits.
Yeah.
It's so funny because that's
you were saying, like, there's
all
in the
scored
music
out musically, like you get to it and you're conducting, you're like, oh, here's a 7/4 bar, and they literally counted out the beats and it's a most.
There's like these crazy so when we were just listening to the score, so we're a little bit nerded out on it. But like there's these crazy beats that it's either like for like Donkey to give a look to Shrek or something like that. It's like there's comic beats built into the music, which you really don't see a lot. Usually it's like a Shazera.
Right, exactly.
But these are actual like 6 count, 8 count beats that are put into the
it was and I've never.
But do you know why I think they're there?
Wait, hold on.
No. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Just think about it. It's Brian Darcy James as Shrek. It's Sutton Foster as Fiona. It's Christopher Sieber as, and these are like legit huge Broadway stars doing Shrek the Musical.
Right.
I guarantee you these people had say in songs and jokes and beats, and the final jokes and the final musical things were written because what's Donkey's name? Chester.
So that's
Chester
Daniel,
Allen Arthur.
No. So although that guy has had slaves in England. Yes. Daniel Breaker was Donkey in the, I think, well, now mind you, I'm trying to look up just like what pops up here. So I have up here just the original ones, but you hit all the other ones was Christopher Sieber, Daniel
Chester
Breaker.
Gregory.
Chester Gregory.
Was Donkey?
I guarantee you that I saw him in Book of Mormon, by the way.
But Sutton, just hold on.
But are you kidding? Of course, these people added to the comedy of the script, and I bet you,
and rightfully so. They've earned their spot in modern. I would say modern Broadway royalty.
Right.
But the crazy thing is like when you look at go ahead, Ollie.
I was just going to say, but what's so fascinating about Shrek against any other show is, I would assume that any other show with some big powerhouses in it would have the ability to have that say. But with Shrek, with the music, they literally have it beat it out as opposed to saying, okay, Fermata, wait for the joke and then go on. And we were having a discussion.
I'm calling foul. I'm calling foul on this.
What's up?
Broadway for Breeders. You guys, I don't know what the fuck that is. What are you talking about?
If you don't know what you're talking about, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's like a thing of like you're trying to talk to me.
No, it's music. No,
but
okay.
I like the idea of this because you're talking about jokes, which I love, and Kevin's hitting on it. You guys know it.
Shazura is a break in music.
Don't talk to me like I'm stupid.
Well, that's how you're talking right now. So
I'm talking like I don't know it. Almost I'm talking like I'm stupid. I'm talking.
Neil, go back to Googling shit. Anyway.
Well, let's talk about the music with Ollie. If
sure, please. Yeah. So, guys, this is going to be a musical conversation. If you have any questions, just email us. All right, how's that sound?
Yeah,
or use the Google.
Yeah.
Neil is so mad right now.
he's pouting in the corner.
Because you're always searching for these awesome ballads as a man, like to sing, and as a tenor to sing. But I don't even want to talk about that. You know what I want to talk about? Is I always say, like, okay, the reason I like Shrek is because I see myself in the characters. You know, one of my favorite moments is Fiona's first song with the 3 girls.
Right.
And then it goes, it's me, Fiona, it's me, Fiona. Yes. And the other 2 come out and harmonize.
Yeah.
And that harmony that they do, like, put shivers in my, like, I'm like, I start tearing up. And it's so...
Everything is ironic, isn't it?
And it has like a Jason Robert Brown type harmony to it.
Yes.
It hits you in the heart. That's like, oh,
So,
good.
real quick,
Yeah.
for those of us who don't know, Jason Robert Brown is also, I mean, for Neil, no, Jason Robert Brown is also a prolific modern day Broadway composer. Last 5 years is probably my favorite of his, but he's also done a ton of other stuff. Look up Jason Robert Brown if you're confused, Neil.
Look up 13 the musical, which is what I also
That's Jason Robert Brown as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
We'll have you back on, Kevin. You're fun. But it's one of those things that so real quick, let me just, I should catch a couple of people up because we have been running through a lot of musical terminology and shit like that. So in musical theater, when you have a comedic moment, usually the music is scored with caesura or a fermata.
So let's talk about caesura and fermata real quick.
Go ahead, Ollie's. That's why we have Ollie. He's
the only reason I'm here.
Yeah. he's
so caesura is like waiting for a freight train at a railroad crossing. It just goes on forever and ever and ever. Fermata is a real quick express, just to slow down for a bit, in non-musical terms there.
Any examples you guys would like to give?
So
I just gave an example and you're confused.
No, I'm not. I understand.
Okay, so in the music of Sweeney Todd, when they're doing the contest, there's a point where it's at the end and Pirelli's going like, I win the race, and it.
Kevin,
Sweeney's finishing it all up.
What was one from Shrek? What was one from Shrek?
Shrek?
So the one
please,
Shrek
Ollie,
is in the traveling song.
That would make more fucking sense.
In the traveling song in Shrek, there is a moment where they're singing, and I forget the exact lyrics.
Okay,
but they get to a point, and they're literally it's a 7/4 bar in the score, and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we're bonding when they come out of it because there was a beat in there, but that is literally and when I say scored out, as opposed to just saying, well, we're going to leave this up to the production team to figure out how long we want this moment to be.
It's actually a set amount of time in this score.
In terms, okay, awesome.
So instead of being honestly, it just means that the composer was very precise.
Right.
And speaking of the composer, this is the same composer that did Thoroughly Modern. Millie.
Yep.
What else?
I don't remember.
Fuck.
What's Neil's here?
Bring up
Neil. Well, that is why we have Neil now. We don't do research. We pretend to.
Well, we do, and then we forget. We promptly forget.
But Kevin, do you have any of these songs in your book, like for when you were auditioning?
So I don't have a book anymore, but when I was auditioning,
I don't either. But yeah, true.
Not necessarily, because my register wasn't really in the Shrek register as much, because I usually do a lot of higher tenor stuff.
Right.
And especially when you audition, you want to show like your highest range.
Of course.
But if I was doing like a
cabaret or something,
one time I did a cabaret and I finally got to do like a ballad and not a funny song. I did I can't remember the name of the song, but it was just I guess I'd be a hero with sword and armor clashing.
Oh, I would be here.
Yeah. And that was a trio that I did, and it was I loved it. Loved it.
I love that song. I love I gotta be honest though, all the music I listened to, I listened to the whole show, OBC, of course. That John Marco made sure that we all knew what OBC was.
OBC.
He was, dude, it's the ABC. 2319. So hold on, wait, real quick. He'll just pull
is
this
that correct?
Up. So,
this is the right composer?
Janine Tesori.
Janine Tesori is the right composer. So she's got
Caroline or Change, Sunday in the Park with George. She was a producer. Did the music for Fun Home, music for
Violet.
Freeman.
Fun Home, not as good as everyone said it was.
No.
I wasn't a huge fan, but also didn't see it.
Yeah, you're right, Shrek. Oh man,
didn't enjoy it that much.
Didn't hear the music, didn't hear anything about it, but I don't like it because you said it.
Appreciated it, didn't really like it. Yeah, but anyway,
it was a little derived.
Swing, 12th Night.
Oh, 12th Night she did the music for, because that's a musical.
There.
Right? Fuck you. Anyway, so how about them Eagles? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yo, did you see Alshon Jeffrey might come back? Yeah,
I did see that actually. I'm excited for the season. It's going to be fun. Everyone can suck my dick though, because the Steelers are finally undefeated. Okay.
So in terms of, go ahead, Kevin.
Let's also talk about Broadway for Breeders and why no sports musical is ever going to fucking succeed ever. Because there's only 8
Rocky.
of us. care about the
Rocky.
Eagles,
Rocky.
and care about musicals. That's it.
Rocky.
That's it. Rocky. It didn't succeed. It failed.
It was such a great musical.
Terrible.
I know, but
I wanted to talk about Rocky with you, but I'm glad you put Shrek because I do like you. This is about me kind of like reigniting some kind of, Broadway thing in my head,
Rocky, but I don't listen to Rocky. Like I don't.
Yeah, no, that's true. Did you see Rocky though? Did you at least see Rocky?
Yeah.
So can you back me up and say that it is a technical goddamn like absolute masterpiece?
Well, so was King Kong, and that was
fuck yourself.
They make. So you might talk about this later on another podcast, Rocky. But they make people move out of the front rows,
right?
And they take this rink that's on stage and put it and they put it into the audience, and they put it into the audience, and now it's like a 360 kind of thing.
It looks like an HBO fight.
Awesome.
It looks like you're actually at the fights. It's a night at the fights almost, and then the choreography is amazing. Anyway, Shrek. Sorry, me and Ali have been fist fighting over Rocky, and by fist fighting I mean I've just been fisting him. So
now the characters in Rocky were trash.
No, I agree.
You can't replace Burt
Young. You can't replace
Burt
Mickey.
Young.
So we
can't replace Mickey with Harvey Firestein.
Yeah.
That's terrible. You're gonna knock him into tomorrow, Rock.
You're a bum, Rock.
You're a bum. Matchmaker, make me a match. Neil, what were you saying? I'm sorry.
Going back to Shrek, I was curious because sometimes usually we highlight other songs. We kind of breeze through we were kind of like that song's right. I was wondering the other songs like really highlights for you guys of the.
So Kevin, let's go off of you. You brought the show in. What would you say are some of your favorite songs from the musical? Not so much just the ones that you do, but I mean just in general the ones that you know.
I would say the Fiona song with the Three Fionas is just beautiful, gorgeous, funny, great song. I say the most underrated song is the one I was just talking about which is, again, what's it called? I can't remember.
I think it's I'll Be or I Would Be, How I Would Be.
That's how I'd be.
Yeah, that's how I'd be.
Yeah, love it. And then the three harmonies, beautiful. Build Me a Wall is a great song.
We were having a conversation in the car. Has anyone done a Trump costume and singing this song?
No, it should be a parody.
That will be on the next episode of Broadway for Readers.
I wrote a parody of Go the Distance, and it was called Social Distance, but I never filmed it.
Oh, dude, film it! I'd love to see that. That sounds great.
But
anyway, going back, yeah.
And one of the best songs, which doesn't get enough credit ever, is Freak Flag.
Oh, that's a great song.
It's a phenomenal song. And everyone talks about the Hugh Jackman musical, Greatest Showman. And everyone talks about whatever that is. It's just Freak Flag. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's Freak Flag. They did it first. It was better. It was awesome.
No, Freak Flag's great because,
phenomenal.
One of the things that I hate about musical theater sometimes is when you have someone who's speaking in a character voice and then they start singing and they sound like fucking Mariah Carey. That doesn't happen in this show though. It kind of does, like Gingerbread
Man, but that's but
not. I mean, because it comes back and it's like, yeah, no, he's still kind of.
That's an intentional choice as opposed to just.
Also that does happen a couple times because it happens with Humpty Dumpty. Whoever plays Humpty Dumpty, which is cut out of all the tours, by the way. No one ever plays Humpty Dumpty. She's like a crazy singer. And then
I look like Humpty Dumpty.
It's no one disagrees. But it's also meant to be that way.
Yeah, I'm a man cheetah. So yeah, no, Freak Flag is amazing. Ali, what are some of your favorite songs?
Freak Flag is a great song. And it's a fun key part to play too. I mean, I've played the show as a keyboard player. I've conducted the show. Freak Flag is great. And it's funny because you love the Fiona ballad, and we were in the car. I was like, Skip.
Yeah. He's like, this is gay.
It's go to. I mean, right now, I don't know if you could play music on this, but
we can cut it, can't we?
Well, no. So I'm kind of trying to set this up where we might be able to drop it in here. So maybe, but I doubt it.
If you go to the point in that song, it might be even on.
It's gonna get pulled.
Just get it on Netflix. I don't know.
If we talk over it, we might.
Well,
be able to get away.
I'll
But
tell you
it
what,
might-
Kevin. Honestly, we're gonna come back to a lot of our guests in the future and do Patreons where we actually go through the music and through stuff like that.
That'd be fun.
So, but anyway, what?
Yeah,
talk
please
about
continue.
it now, but we'll talk about it then too.
It's the moment when Sutton Foster's done her solo because it's the young girl, the middle girl,
Right.
then Sutton Foster. It's funny, and then she cuts in the music and goes, "Are you there, God? It's me, Fiona.
Right.
It's me, Fiona." And the other girl comes in, and then the other girl comes in, and it goes, "And I know will appear," and it's just like, oh,
It's
Yes, bitch.
yes.
Look at Kevin fucking breaking out the golden pipes. This fucking sexy bitch.
It makes you want to say "Yas, Queen."
Yes. Okay, for those of you that don't know, yes, Queen is a flamboyantly gay and black thing to say to someone who can sing.
Y-A-Z.
Yes.
That white females have now stolen.
Yeah, what else is new? They steal everything.
We can try to play a little bit of it if you want to go to that point. Or I was going to say, I was wondering what you guys would think might you want to do differently in the show. Like, was there anything in there from your technical minds, from the people that actually do musical theater? Was there anything in there in the show in general that you thought what you would do differently?
Yeah, so well, I have not seen it, so I can't really comment on that question. But Kevin, I mean, you've seen it. It sounds like a few times, right? You've seen it.
Yeah. Well, I saw it live, and I saw Netflix. Twice.
So technically, how would is there anything in the show that you would have done differently as from a directorial standpoint?
Yeah, so they do. That's a good question. They do the dragon, and the dragon is like
Fat?
You see,
No.
the head of the dragon, and then you see three big scales, like human-sized scales, and then it turns around and it's three female, like
Dragonettes.
Dragonettes. Yeah. I don't know. I probably would have done that differently. That was just kind of boring to me, but it's also not that it was boring. It's the music is boring in that moment. And it's not like what it should be is Little Shop of Horrors. It should be this like it's sick music, and it's not great, and it's just kind of boring.
So we have one of them pulled up. Yeah, we have like the full.
It's interesting because that's a song they kept replacing in the show because Donkey Pot Pie got replaced.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Donkey Pot Pie.
Is this a children's?
This is like probably a children's cast or something like that. I have no idea, dude. I just pulled up nonsense.
Oh no!
I don't know how to pull up anything.
Neil's pulling up kitty porn.
It's on Netflix.
We just got pulled for kitty porn.
Oh, you're talking about Netflix?
No,
right
not
now.
cuties. We're not watching cuties.
Not again. As Zach.
Hey,
Give me host privileges on Zoom, and I'll find it for you.
Yeah, he's really good with an iPad on stage too.
I am upset right now. I cannot be more upset. I've never been more on fire. I'm sweating. I'm disgusting right now.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to find the original stuff. I'm not seeing any of the dragons.
Had up there.
Just type in the dragon, dumbass.
I already just found it.
All right, screen share it for us, Kevin.
I'm not screen share.
No,
Neil,
Kevin
add
can.
Broadway
Kevin
to your
can.
search terms.
Here. Wait, Kevin got a chair.
All right.
Hold on.
Can you give me host privileges?
Yeah. Hold on. I'm looking at the side of the screen. This really derails.
Of course, Kevin asked for host privileges on the podcast. He found a way to make this his. This is great.
This is all I do all day is work on.
All right. There you go. I think you should be good. Try them.
Okay, yeah, I can do it. Hold on.
Come on,
Kevin,
Kevin.
It might be la- it might
Come
be
on,
loud,
Kevin.
but here you go.
Come on, Kevin. Let's go, Kevin. Okay, don't play it because we're gonna get pulled.
We're gonna get
It's
pulled.
fine. I'm talking over it. We're talking over it. Why are you playing it?
Oh no! I thought you were showing us the screen. I thought you were showing us the dragon.
I hate you so much.
What the fuck were you doing?
I am
so in love with the song. No, we can play it. We're not idiots. Take away the sharing. We don't want to get pulled off of YouTube.
God, you know what? It's gone now. You're a privilege. No, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone. I refuse, dude. I refuse. You think I can't pull up your goddamn dragon? All right. fucking dude, Kevin, I don't care how big you are. I don't give a shit. Yes, here's the fucking dragon, you goddamn noob.
Ollie, go ahead. Let
the
Ollie.
dragon went from one person to 3 people back to one person. They kept changing the dragon in every rewrite of the show. So every time the tour went out, there was a different rewrite of the dragon.
Oh,
Just
wow.
to clarify.
Okay.
Yeah, so the tour is different. I can see now. I'm actually looking it up now, but the tour was like a just big puppet dragon.
Yep.
I would probably do that. Or, you know what was awesome? Like King Kong was trash, but King Kong was awesome.
Technically, it was awesome. Yeah, I sent some Irish kids
the
there.
musical was trash and the show was trash, but the actual puppet of King Kong was baller. And I doubt they have the money for it, but if you redid the show, and one of the big things was King Kong, Shrek, but one of the big things, like, if you did the dragon as like the King Kong, like this huge puppet, like that would be what I did if you had the money. That's the one thing I really don't like about the show is that stuff. There's a song with the 3 Blind Mice song I never liked.
Oh, that's funny. Ollie likes that song.
Well, the 3.
I don't hate it.
No.
So,
Let's
but
disagree.
again, there's
This
another
is
one
the
where
Straight Guys Guide to Broadway. All right.
They rewrote the
Stop
ending of
being
that
catty.
one too. They rewrote the ending of that song as well from the.
Oh,
original
so
cast
that's
recording.
that's gone now too.
No,
Yeah.
it's still there, but it's a new ending. It's a much better ending.
Oh, okay. Okay.
What I want from those 3 women is Little Shop of Horrors. Like how great the harmony
Isn't that what we
is,
just
how
talked
great
about?
that and it's like catchy. I can't like 3 blind mice. 3 blind.
Right.
and
It's
you're
too.
all right,
It's
I don't
like
fucking
too,
care.
no. It's too milk toast.
Like,
But there's-
impress me.
But they're
you know?
sticking with the whole fairy tale thing. So I get using that. I mean,
No, but
Right.
it,
No, I
but
get it. I
kind
get
of no. You're saying like kind of 50s, 60s it up, kind of give it a little more.
Yeah.
Hey
50,
now,
60,
hey
yeah.
now, my mice is
Yeah.
blind.
Yeah. That's
and this is why Zach doesn't write musicals.
No, I don't know. That was spot the fuck on. You should go. Yeah, see, Neil liked it, and he's our audience.
I do agree with you.
Thanks,
though. Like,
Neil.
that's kind of what I wanted. Like,
Yeah.
it would have been more memorable and stuff like that.
Get it a little kitschy.
My wife choreographed the children's version of it, and the stuff they cut really makes.
Is
me
your
mad.
wonderful wife home right now?
No, she's waiting for me to come sign papers for our new apartment.
Okay, and you have what do we have about 15 minutes? We're looking at. Okay.
Yeah.
Too bad. I would have loved to get Justina's comment
Oh,
on.
she loves Shrek too. She loves.
We might. I might have to bypass you and text her and get her on the show. Because you guys are both. You both fit the mold. So all right. So kind of like a little bit of closing thoughts / how do we feel about? I mean, here's the thing. From what I've seen visually of the show, and I've seen a lot of it because I have without saying too much. There's a production company that I'm involved with that's looking to put the show on later in, I guess, next year. Is that next year?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Yeah.
I do. Okay.
Anyway,
I know.
So I figured
Sure,
I don't know.
sure.
You know
I know
more than me.
everything. Yeah.
So this is the part where me and Ollie pretend to be Muppets. So so
So I will be.
but so Jesus Christ, what I've so like I said, what I've seen visually of the show, it seems like it's a pretty big undertaking, but I've also seen it done.
Yeah.
A lot of educational theaters have been doing this, like high schools, and it's like become a big show to do for high schools and stuff. You have a little bit of experience, if you want to talk on that. But
when we did it in high school, we built a turntable.
yeah,
I mean,
and then but what's that, Neil?
I don't know what that means.
What's that?
Turntable.
Oh,
Like
like a legitimate table that turns.
So a large. Okay, well, I hear
So the
DJ
stage-
I hear-
A lot.
the stage
A good
spins.
portion of the show is them just walking.
Yep.
Yeah, so to make
There
that
you
happen
go.
on stage,
That's fun.
you gotta.
Yeah.
Which I will say, Rocky did as well.
Yeah, overusing it in there, dude.
Spider-Man had a bunch of treadmills on the stage, and they would be like run.
Oh yeah.
Treadmills are so 1979.
So I guess what what I'm gonna ask, my last question about Shrek is to everybody. How do we feel about Broadway doing this? Okay, we're done making original stuff. We're just going to take movies and put them on stage. Or we're just going to take a cartoon character and put them on stage. Because you have that with, like you said, Spider-Man. I mean, Christ, Rocky. Beetlejuice. School of Rock. Which School of Rock was actually done very well on stage by Connor Galuli. But shout out.
Have Connor on the podcast?
He's coming on, I think, next week. We're gonna get him on an episode soon because we're doing a lot in the can right now. But so, oh my God, the best. I just talked to him the other day. Me and him were pissing our pants laughing about that time at Stand Up New York. But anyway, the question is, how do we feel? How do we feel about Broadway going away from the original, idea of what a musical is, and now it's kind of becoming, okay, so we're just gonna take a movie character or something that was wildly successful and put some music to it and do this?
I mean, that's a great question. Because I'm here talking about Shrek because I love it so much, but there are so many movie musicals.
I wouldn't even say that Shrek's part of the problem though, because Shrek kind of stands alone. After hearing the music and everything, Shrek kind of does stand alone from the movie. It's a different vibe.
Yeah, that's tough. I think there's another thing besides what we're talking about, because I think that's been talked about a lot. Like there's just too many movies that are now musicals and you want to go see that. But the longest running ones are Wicked, Cats, Phantom of the Opera, the ones that were like original musicals.
Fuck Cats.
Well, those are the ones that are original musicals that are the longest running ones. The movie ones make money, but they don't last that long. The thing that's about to happen, and you can quote me on this, is that now that Hamilton was so successful, a lot of musicals are about to be filmed and put on the big screen.
I was actually just about to bring that up. What do you guys think the IMDb rating is for Shrek as of 2013 when they released it? It's actually very high.
It's like the musical?
7.6.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's 7. It's at least 7. Yeah, I know you were very close. It did very well.
I think it's about 6 tomatoes.
It's about 6 tomatoes.
6 tomatoes.
6 tomatoes.
I wouldn't give it any more than that.
I wouldn't give it any more than 6 tomatoes.
I was very surprised. Yeah.
Producing a Broadway show is just more and more expensive.
Right.
But now with COVID, who knows? Maybe it'll get less and less expensive. But also Hamilton is the most successful show. And then Book of Mormon is the most successful show before that. And so I think the more original the musical, the better. And those are the ones that are going to last the longest. I don't think the movie remakes of musicals have staying power. I think they have, let's make money for 2 years and then we'll tour it and make a few extra dollars.
Well, the thing is, so going back to that original question, how do you feel about movies that are taking musicals and becoming movies with them, like Les Mis and Phantom of the Opera? And I guess, I mean, I wouldn't count La La Land because that wasn't on stage, but that kind of, or Heathers even, I mean, where they made a movie version of the musical version, which is based on a movie. Like that one. Right. I mean, Heathers cracks me up, but like,
again, I don't know. As long as it's good, who cares? Who cares? As long as it's good, I'm more upset about remakes of movies I don't want to see remakes of, like Ghostbusters or The Sandlot. Like, just stop. Like,
they're remaking The Sandlot?
That's what I heard. I don't know.
I'm not happy. I heard they're remaking Blazing Saddles, and they're calling it Blazing Samurai, and it's an animated movie. It's like a Pixar movie with cats.
Oh,
now they're doing old shows that we used to love and extending them. Like now, here's another season of Saved by the Bell. Like,
oh yeah. Although I will say, Cobra Kai, out of all this remake shit, Cobra Kai's amazing. Fucking A, Cobra Kai. Yo, Neil, go fuck yourself. Cobra Kai was amazing. It made me start doing karate again. I was doing karate in my fucking garage like a psycho for like a month.
It's good.
Yeah.
But you know what isn't going to be successful? You know what? This movie won an Academy Award. It should be great. You know what people love? Musicals and boxing. They love that shit. Let's put that together. And I'm not even saying it wasn't good, because it was.
Yeah! Winner!
It's not going to work. Like, stop doing this shit. At least do a smart. I don't think anyone's going to listen to this podcast, so let me tell you what I want to write.
Thanks, Kevin.
The Truman Show musical. That's what I would have.
I wouldn't watch that,
great.
but someone would, I'm sure. Some idiot. That's the thing. There's like for every guy like me, there's like 17 idiots that are like, I'd watch that. That's fine.
But I think it's the original ones that have staying power. That's what I think.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I think when you're reversing it like Les Mis, it's a time for these very well-developed characters already, because like actresses and actors like Hugh Jackman and whoever won the Academy Award for it, the
Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway, like they grew
yeah, it's a woman. Why would you remember that? It's fine. He voted for Biden, everyone. He voted for Biden.
No comment. All right. But, those people grew up desperately wanting to play these characters and then knowing how to play these characters. And so when you put it on screen, yeah, you're going to win an Academy Award for it.
Yeah.
You've been training for that your whole life. So I think that's fine. I just, it's the original ones that are going to succeed, not the remakes.
I hear that. Well, I love this. I'm so glad that we got to do this, Kevin. This has been an absolute blast. I hope no one listens to this because you're a cunt. But
agree.
So any closing thoughts on Shrek from everybody in the room? Any closing thoughts? Ollie?
Anything?
What?
You like the score? You like to?
No, it's a great show. It's a lot of fun to play. It's a lot of fun to watch. I mean, we had a blast working on the show. Thank you for bringing Shrek to the table, because at least it wasn't falsetto land.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ, John Mark.
We had to power through that.
Shit.
Yeah, that was not my jam. But no,
we're Jewish and closeted. John Marco, are you trying to tell us something? Anyway, but yeah, no, I would say the same thing. It's one of those great things that, the cool thing about this podcast is I get to experience more musicals than I usually would, because if it was laid up to me, I wouldn't. But Shrek was fun. And that's something that you really don't get out of musicals anymore. And it was just straight up fun. And all the music, I really liked all the music, regardless of how Ollie feels.
No, it's not that I didn't like the music. It's just we could skip some of those songs.
Yeah. Anyway, and I'm really excited to watch it on Netflix. Kevin, do you have anything closing thoughts to say about Shrek?
Well, number one, I'm excited to see when you see it on Netflix, so I want to hear what you have to say about it.
Yeah, I'll give you a call. We'll eat some chicken nuggets.
To watch in the beginning, but you get used to it. And then, do you agree with me that you watch a musical because you see yourself in that character? Is that like, as a musical,
I think that's, I got to be honest, I think that's
part of the equation.
I think that's a big part of the equation.
So I think if the musical is well written, they write it in a way that they know that people will watch and feel like they are part of it. I think that's the hallmark of a well written show. So
that's why my favorite musical is Little Women. Because I can really see myself.
Well, what is your favorite musical?
That's a loaded question. I don't know, man.
Rocky, didn't we say you said Rocky like 45 times in this fucking podcast?
Yeah,
shut up.
No, Rocky is not my favorite musical.
Really?
I know. It's a letdown.
No idea.
No, my favorite musical. Jesus
He
Christ,
only
I hate
wanted
this
me
question.
to do Rocky, by the way, because I have a 5-minute comedy stand-up bit about Rocky.
That's not true. It's because me and you vibed about Rocky for like 3 years. We were the only ones.
I've also got 5 minutes on Rent, too.
Just pay your fucking rent. No, favorite musical. It's fucking tough, man. I don't know.
What's yours?
While he's thinking of a musical that he can remember the title of.
You.
Well, I'm right. I love The Producers. I think that's one of the greatest musicals ever written.
Do you see yourself in Bialystok and Bloom? Do you see yourself wanting to play those characters?
Oh, absolutely. But I am also, a guy with a degree in musical theater that doesn't use it. So, I'm a bit of a closet performer when push comes to shove. So, yeah. Oh, I love The Producers. It's just really well written.
It's like, the thing is like, my favorites are like hacky, not hacky, but I mean, they've been considered hacky, but Sweeney is still my favorite musical. I don't care what anyone says. And that
I love Scarlet Pimpernel and no one else does.
Yeah, well, that's fair, because no one knows what the fuck it is. Anyway. But no, my father, like my fucking lullaby was Nothing's Gonna Harm You from Sweeney. Yeah. So like I grew up listening to the Len Cariou on vinyl and shit. So it's like, that musical has always been big for me. Plus I'm a huge horror geek and like it's like horror movie on on
Well,
steroids.
speaking of that, I
So
think some of
Carrie,
your
the
favorite
musical.
musicals are the ones where one of the songs really sticks with you. And if one of the songs really sticks with you, then you start liking that show more and more and more. And I think there's a couple songs in Shrek that really just stick to me hard. It's also why I wanted to talk about 13, because there's a song in that like gets me good.
There's a
every
couple.
time.
I mean, going back with the Jason Robert Brown thing, not to trail off because we are going to wrap up in a little bit, but last 5 years, if I didn't believe in you,
Oh, yeah.
like that song hits me so fucking hard. So fucking hard.
Oh.
That came on my Spotify the other day. I was driving from New York back here, and I just started crying. And I don't even know why. I was just like, it reminded me of college, and like, because like that's like when I like found that musical, and you know, there's something to musical theater that the songs do have a, you know, not to quote Pippin, but have a way of sticking to the soul. You know, it's like it's one of those weird things that you know, it hits you in a certain way, and it can really. You know.
Speaking of the last 5 years, that was when I was in high school, and I like absolutely loved it. There was a girl I was like trying to like hook up with, that was like we were close, like, you know, we were kind of like there. I showed her this musical, and we listened to it together, thinking, oh my God, it's going to be so deep, and so she's going to love it.
She was like, you're gay.
And
No, I'm kidding.
not only did she love it, but it made her think of her ex-boyfriend and not me. And so then she was just sad about him.
Oh, no.
Shout out Just Amelia. What's up, girl?
Oh, so you've always been fucking going after the Italian broads. And with that, Kevin, is there anything else you want to plug real quick before we get out of here?
No, man. Comedy Mom's probably coming back in April.
All right. Well, that's good to know because I love hanging out with you. I mean, Comedy Mob was my first home as a comic. For those of you that don't know, Comedy Mob's done so much for me and so much for other amazing comics that probably wouldn't have gotten a second look just because of how busy the New York comedy scene gets. Stand Up New York has been awesome as well. I've been working with you guys pretty much for the past 3 years, and I've gotten to do a lot of these park shows that you guys have been doing, which is fantastic. And
so that's the plan. Everyone's talking right now. They're assuming clubs are coming back in April now that the vaccine's close and all that kind of stuff. So
isn't that funny how the vaccine's close right after the election? Anyway, it's
not.
It's pretty fucking funny. Anyway, guys, this has been Broadway for Breeders. Kevin Hurley. You can follow him at Kevin Abridged on Instagram. Go check him out at Stand Up New York. He's there all the fucking time. He also has a couple other podcasts. Kevin, I love you so much. I'm so glad we got to do this. You're my buddy, and I miss you.
13 is next, baby.
13's next. We'll have him back. Guys, thank you so much. This has been Broadway for Breeders. I am Zach Petrovich.
I am Oliver Blatt.
And we will, I think Roseanne Barr's our next guest.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
And I'm Kevin Hurley. I do
Not a gay. It's the Straight Guy's Guide to Broadway.
This has been a Drop Tent Media Production.